What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Paul Talks Patriots. We have a lot to go over, a couple of interesting storylines this year, including Drake May, his struggles at training camp, Matthew Judon, the turmoil involved with him and Gerard Mayo and over his new contract, and we got some more winners and losers for training camp about a week in. Let's get into it. Well, let's start off with the most important player on our roster this year, uh, Drake May, the rookie, our savior. Uh, he was looking very impressive throughout the first couple of non-padded practices, making spectacular throws. I was at training camp on Friday, and boy, does he have a talented arm. Um, Yesterday, first day with full pads, and it got a lot worse for Drake May. Yesterday, he was a combined 3 for 11 in 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s. Terrible, honestly. There's no really other way to describe it. He just did not perform well. And I've been saying it, Drake May is not ready to be the Patriots starting quarterback come week one. It's just not possible. Yes, he has a lot of natural talent, some God given gifts, but he has a lot to learn as well. He is a project, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. We, as a fan base, need to be patient and wait and see what he can produce. Today, he did not do too much better. A little better because it's tough to do worse than 3 for 11, but he went 9 for 16 in one-on-ones today. That did include a couple of drops, so not completely his fault. You can live with that, especially when some of the receivers are the ones dropping the passes that should be caught. He went 2 for 2 in 11-on-11s, 3 for 4 in 7-on-7, so both pretty good, yeah. But he went 1 for 2 in red zone passes, uh, and handed the ball off a lot, which he did also a couple of times in 11-on-11s. And then he went back to 11-on-11s at the end of practice and went 2 for 7. Again, this included a couple of handoffs that obviously don't count towards the passing total. But 2 for 7 to finish off practice, come on, Drake. You got to do better than that. And then on the opposite side, you have Jacoby Brissett, who's been absolutely balling out all of training camp, especially the past 2 days. A complete opposite story of Drake May. He has truly impressed, made some great passes downfield, isn't making a lot of errors, which is what we were expecting him to do. We know his ceiling is low. He's reached his ceiling by now. But he is competent. You can put him in there. He's going to make plays and allow his special skill players to make plays, which is what he's been doing. You've seen highlights of wide receivers going up and making passes. Those are passes from Jacoby Brissett. So Gerard Mayo, before yesterday's practice, stated that there's going to be a real competition for that starting quarterback spot. Well, after these 2 days, it's not looking like much of a competition at all. It's looking like Jacoby Brissett is the clear number one. And in due time, maybe later this year, Drake May can take over, but it's going to take a long time. Again, it's not happening overnight. I would give him at least half of the year. He has to catch up to Jacoby Brissett when it comes to learning this offense. Let's not forget that Jacoby Brissett was running this offense with Alex Van Pelt in Cleveland last year. So Brissett already is miles ahead of Drake May as we begin training camp. And Drake has a talent to catch up to Jacoby, but it's not going to happen right away. We need to be patient. Drake May is only 21 years old. It's going to take some time for him to develop, and we need to be in the waiting game for the long run when it comes to that. Um, on top of that, some unfortunate news coming over from Gillette Stadium. Christian Barmore got diagnosed with blood clots. Now, this is a very interesting health condition. It varies from case to case. There's been players that come back in a couple of weeks from this. There's been players where it takes months for them to recover and come back. And it's not because of the blood clots, it's because of the medicine they get put on for the type of blood clots they have. Um, it's all contingent on how Christian Barmore reacts to the medication and how physically fit he feels after starting taking the meds. You look at Marquise Goodwin last year, who was playing for the Browns. It took him about a month to come back after being diagnosed with blood clots. Hopefully, it's the same for Barmore. Um, Obviously, not an ideal situation on sitting out with an injury or a condition like this, but if he can be healthy when the season starts, even if it takes a couple of weeks into the regular season, obviously his health comes first, and he'll be a lot fresher when he comes back. So we are all hoping that Barmore gets the treatment he needs, which it seems like he is. He's not in the hospital anymore. So we'll wait and see how long it takes for him to come back from that. Uh, as far as the first day of training camp went, well, Devon Godchow and Matthew Judon were present but not active participants in practice, and there was a lot of drama going on amongst Judon and Gerard Mayo and the front staff who was present at practice also. Um, Godchild was at practice, like I said, and so was his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who is maybe the best agent in football, maybe even all of sports, very well known, great agent. He was talking to Mac Rowe, and Elliot Wolf was on the field, and I believe they were talking together as well. So all signs point to Godchild getting a new contract, very soon. It's only a matter of time, it feels like. Now, Matthew Judon did not take this too lightly. Uh, he had a lengthy conversation with Gerard Mayo. No one knows what was specifically said, but there is video out there of the conversation. And Judon seems to be wearing his heart on his sleeve, expressing his feelings a lot in the conversation. And that was followed up by Judon leaving practice. No one knows what was said, but that's not looking good. Judon did come back out later in practice to talk to Elliot Wolf. Again, a lot of that conversation, reports are saying, and from what people could see, was that it was Judon doing a lot of talking and Elliot doing a lot of listening. And then today, Judon was nowhere to be seen. He wasn't in the facility, didn't even show up to Gillette Stadium. That's not a good sign. And as it's looking right now, don't be surprised if Judon gets traded. Um, is this ideal? Hell no, not at all. Especially with Christian Barmore being sidelined for who knows how long. Godchow hopefully gets his extension and goes back to practicing normally. No worries there. But other than that, who do you have on your defensive line? Maybe Keon White steps up, but Where's your edge rushing? Who's getting to the quarterback? Anthony Jennings and Joshua Uche can only do so much. Not to say that they're bad. Uche is very good, very competent at getting to the quarterback. But Judon, you've probably seen the stat: 32 sacks in 38 games played across his career in New England. You need that on the field. He deserves it. He's been one of your best, if not your best, defensive player for the past 3 years. You have the money. Why are you doing this? Just get it done. Give the man what he deserves, what he's earned over the course of his time in New England. I don't know if it might be too late to turn back and do that, but we will see what he gets. He's not in your long term plans. I want to say he's looking for probably an extra 7 million this year. He's only due for about 7.5 million this year, which is very low for edge rushers in the NFL. He's earned the right to earn almost double that. If you look at salaries and what edge rushers are getting. As far as Godchild goes, you heard him say he just wants respect. And the way his contract works this year is he's got no guaranteed money. That's what he's looking for. He wants guaranteed money on his contract, and I can't blame the guy. What happens if he gets injured? Then he's screwed. He wants some financial security, don't we all? So that's what he's looking for. Again, I can't imagine Godchild being in our long term plans. I would say give him some guaranteed money this year, toss a couple million at him, and maybe give him another year on his contract next year for another 7 million, whatever it may be. Nothing crazy. He's earned a good amount of pay, but you don't got to pay him out the wazoo. Give him something that's respectable. Again, we have all the money in the world. We're not going out there and trading for three top tier players where we need to all give them 20 to 30 million dollars. That's not going to happen um, the way we all want it to. It's patient. Pay the players that you have right now. Give them respect. Build that culture. Make them happy to be here, and make the environment a great place to work in. That's the way you're going to succeed this year on the field. It's Our talent is not up to par with the rest of our division, but we need to pay the players that we have so we're not completely lost as a franchise. That's the quickest way for Gerard Mayo to be canned and Elliot Wolf. So, Elliot, it's pretty simple. Just pay the players you have. You're not getting anyone else crazy. Um, Besides that, yesterday, Jabril Peppers and Joshua Uche left practice. Um, Uche got tossed out of practice for an altercation he got into during one on one drills. He was back at practice today. Obviously, not something you want to see from a guy you want to be a leader. Honestly, really unfortunate. But it happened. You get over it. He's back at practice. Everyone is happy. As far as Jabril Peppers go, he got a leg injury. He was at practice today wearing a leg sleeve. So nothing crazy. Maybe a strain. Who knows? Nothing to worry about. He should be fine. But maybe something to keep an eye on. We're going to take a break real quick, and when I get back, we will be going over the winners and losers of training camp so far.
Malo is my French bulldog. He made my heart bigger when he came in my life. He never really liked his food. He wouldn't eat till like 10 o'clock at night. To me, it was saying, oh, I guess I don't want to starve. He was having skin breakouts, and putting the two and two together, what you put into your body is what you get out. I know that if I'm eating a bunch of processed food, I'm not going to feel good. So that kind of led me to Farmer's Dog. Immediately, his skin issues went away. I love what they're doing. It's already portioned out. He's eating whole foods. It's amazing.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference, our team store where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only, our podcast page where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media, our subscription page where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
All right, welcome back. So I have four winners and four losers. Kind of, you'll find out. Uh, but we will start with the positive side of this list. First man I want to talk about, who I've been high on since we drafted him in the fourth round this year. I was high on him before we even drafted him. This kid's a stud. He's going to keep on showing out like he has been for the past week. I am talking about wide receiver Javon Baker. Now, Baker uh, obviously came with a lot of flair. He likes to talk. Recently, he's kept his mouth shut and he's proved why he's earned the right to talk. He's been very great so far. Not perfect. Again, he's a rookie, let's not forget, but he makes a lot of good plays. A lot of flashy plays that the Patriots have been lacking really since you could say Josh Gordon, or you could go back to Randy Moss if you want. This guy turns 50-50 jump balls into 70-30 jump balls in his favor. He is awesome at high pointing the ball and coming down with it. He's caught the ball over people corners in single coverage, and he even did it in double coverage. The guy's a stud. He's going to continue to get better, and he's earned reps with the first team. So who knows? You might see him starting week one, which I did not think was going to happen, but he's earned it. There's no doubt about that. Um, Another guy in the wide receiver room who's really sticking out, another surprise, or this one is a surprise, I would say. Um, Tyquan Thornton has been doing extremely well. Besides Javon Baker, I would say he's stuck out the most out of that group. Now, Jalen Polk's been making good plays, but that's what you expect out of a second round draft pick. You expect him to make good plays off the bat. Um, but Tyquan Thornton, after struggling for 3 years, seems to finally have found his groove. Now, he's in a tough competition to make our roster, but the general consensus of Patriots fans right now is that he is going to snag that last wide receiver spot. He has put in a lot of work. When I was at training camp, I could see a lot of improvement in his game. He's finally figuring out how to use his speed, how to use his height to go down the field and make good plays. Not as flashy as Javon. No, he's not mossing people every practice, but he's found out how to track the ball in the air, catch it over his shoulder, and once he does that, he's gone. He's one of the fastest people in the league, and no one really bats an eye to that anymore. I feel like that's why he's here. That's why we drafted him. Is his speed is elite. Yes, elite. I'm not saying that lightly. His speed is elite. I'm happy to see him finally figuring it out, and I want him to make that final spot on the wide receiver group. We'll see. He's competing against Keyshawn Boutte and Juju Smith-Schuster. But right now, Taekwon's got him beat, and it's looking very promising, looking like he can finally be a good contributor to our team. Third, Joe Milton. Now, I talked about him scouting. I said he's got a lot to work on. He's got he had the best arm in the draft. I will fully embrace that argument. I think a lot of people would agree. I don't think that's a hot take at all. But everything else was kind of off with him. He's very athletic, but he needs to figure out his mechanics, reading defenses, all that. I've gone through it before in my scouting report of him. But he did jump ahead of Bailey Zappi. He's getting the third team reps, and he's not wowing people, but he is doing a good job. He also did a backflip when I was at training camp, which was pretty cool. He did one today as well. I guess that's his thing now. Matthew Judon plays catch with the kids before practice starts. Joe Milton does backflips after he makes cool throws. So I like the backflips. But he is showing off his natural talent, his athleticism. Um, it's such an interesting case. Again, I've said it. I said it last week. I love this battle between Joe Milton and Bailey Zappi on who's going to get that third string spot. At this point, I don't know. I have an idea actually. I guess we'll get to that, but who knows? The Patriots might carry four quarterbacks. It depends on so much. There's so many variables going into it, but it's going to be fun to continue to follow. Lastly, on my winners list, I grouped these guys together because they're benefiting from the same thing. That is Christian Ellis and Steel Chambers. Uh, Sione Taki is out indefinitely after he got a knee scope. Who knows? It could be 1 month. It could be months. He could miss half the season. This is a chance for Christian Ellis and Steel Chambers to really step up. Now, Ellis was claimed off waivers last year from the Eagles and really just stuck to special teams. Didn't see the field a lot. Um, is a good kid from what I've heard and a good football player. He went to Idaho, University of Idaho, so he didn't go to a major school. He just spent a couple years in the league and practice squad, special teams, that stuff. This year, he could really get a chance to show out. So when I'm at training camp next, I'm really interested to see how he does. Um, as far as Steel Chambers goes, he was an undrafted free agent this year out of Ohio State, I believe. Really cool name. Let's say that first. Really cool name, Steel Chambers. It's Steel with an E at the end, though, which makes it cooler, in my opinion. Um, but he spent a little over a month worth of time with the Lions earlier this offseason in May and June. But he was waived right before minicamp started, the day before, actually. So now he's here. He's got the name recognition and playing at a powerhouse school that he did. The kid should have some potential. I didn't really see anything from either of them. I was more focused on the offense when I was at training camp. But next time I am there, since the pads are on now, I'm really interested to see how they do. One of them is going to make the roster, if not both of them. But it's a matter of if they stick to special teams or if they get valuable defensive snaps. Ellis has the advantage over Chambers right now, I would say, because he was on the team last year. He contributed on special teams. Um, but Chambers has potential to go out there and make a name for himself. So we will keep a close eye on that. I think that's an interesting one. But just the fact that Sione Taki is going to be out for a while, this is a real chance for one of them to step up. Now to the negative side, the losers of training camp so far. First off, this one's not going to be any surprise. Juju Smith Schuster. Um, he's just washed up, man. He's done. Um, he's got no juice left. He hasn't shown any flashes of his old self, really. I've seen videos of him dropping passes that he should be catching, which I don't remember being a problem with him before, too bad at least. But to me, it seems like not only is he physically beat, he's mentally beat. Um, I think his time is done. I mean, I think that's the general consensus on Juju Smith Schuster. Um, and he doesn't seem to be like a true leader to me out of that wide receiver group. He seems like he's competing against everyone and doesn't have time to be a leader like he should be at this point in his career. Um, at this point, if you can keep one of the younger guys in Thornton or Booty who are on a rookie contract and you have to eat Juju's money, I would say that's worth it. Again, you have all this cap space. Eat his money, see what Thornton and Booty and or Booty can give you, and go with that. Juju's done. He's not going to contribute to the roster. Um, you're going to have to eat the money either way. You're going to have to pay Juju or eat it and play one of the younger guys. Who's going to help your team out more? At this point, I would definitely say Tyquan Thornton and maybe even Booty. So eat that $12.3 million in dead cap and get him out of here. Next guy who I don't think is going to be on the roster, um, probably not at least, like I just said a couple minutes ago, who won't be on the roster by the time the regular season starts. That's Bailey Zappi. Listen, he's taking fourth team reps now. Like I said, Joe Milton jumped ahead of him. And I think it's only a matter of time before he's cut or traded if someone wants to toss us like a sixth or seventh round pick for him if they need a competent backup. Um, I think him and Milton will play preseason game one, and the Patriots will make a decision from there about Zappi. I think Milton will have a longer leash, but Zappi, if he doesn't perform well, then he's gone, which stinks. I like Zappi as a person. His playing is obviously subpar at best, but he is a great guy. He seems to be helping out Drake May a lot. Not as much as Brissett, but helping out. It's not There's not a lot of tension in that quarterback room like there was with Zappi and Mac Jones last year. Unfortunately, I think his time here is just done, and he'll find a good home somewhere else. But it's not happening unless the Patriots decide to carry four quarterbacks. Also, I will re say this like I did last week that Drake May, it all depends on if Patriots are comfortable with playing Drake May as their second string quarterback. If Jacoby goes down with an injury, are they comfortable with Drake May hopping in there? If so, then Zappy's done. If they need someone else to hop in there in the event that Jacoby can't play, and they want a veteran out there that they know can run the offense well and maybe not have the best results, but not make the worst mistakes, that would be Zappy. So we'll see how that plays out. Right now, I have Zappy on the outs, but he's not completely written off yet. Next is Vidarian Lowe. I hate Vidarian Lowe. I've said it before. This guy needs to go. I haven't heard a single thing about him, which is great. I love that. He's not getting first team reps. After trying a couple of different combinations, the Patriots seem set on a certain starting group as of right now until David Andrews comes back, and maybe Cole Strange will hop back in there again, unfortunately, once he's healthy. But Vidarian Lowe is on the outs. There's other people that are getting a chance to get reps. And unfortunately, what's benefiting Vidarian Lowe right now is that Tyrone Wheatley Jr., who we traded for last year, a backup tackle, is doing bad. So I need him to step it up because I can't see Vidarian Lowe on the field anymore. That guy he was like the Miles Bryant of offense last year. Guy needs to go. He's terrible. But the good news is Wallace and Okorafor are getting those first team reps. And maybe Onwenu will move back to tackle, which makes Vidarian Lowe expendable. We'll see how that goes. But there's just other options that can't be any worse than Vidarian Lowe and maybe have more potential than Vidarian Lowe. Um, I think he's going to be donezo by the time the regular season is here. Uh, Lastly, Sean Wade, just the odd man out this year. I was really rooting for the guy. He flashed potential, just never worked out. It never clicked for him, unfortunately. Here, after a stellar career in college, he just couldn't figure it out here. Unfortunately, you got Marcellus Dial, who you drafted this year, and then you got Alex Austin and Marco Wilson, um, who are all competing for a spot. At the end of the day, I think you take your chances keeping those guys who are younger and have more of a ceiling, I would say. And it's just time for Sean Wade to go. Um, I think he might get another chance somewhere else, but we will see. Besides that, there's no practice on Wednesday or Sunday this week. Um, so nothing tomorrow, but as soon as Thursday starts, I'm going to try and get there, see what's going on with the team, and report back to you guys about it. That's all I've got this week. As always, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you next Tuesday.